Lovely evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are doing great and awesome this lovely Friday. Welcome back in this short episode. When the screen flickers with a notification that I'm starting a live broadcast or podcast or a live broadcasting, this means that it's an alarm to you to get started with your language learning. So I'm not pretty sure if we are live or not, but since electricity comes and goes, I'll just keep it short to the point of 11 major tips that I've collected from my learning and teaching experience over the past years. This morning, I'll post a video of one of my learners talking to me, and she is a doctor. She studies in College of Medicine. Actually, she graduated, and she told me something quite interesting. She said that her English was really good, but because she quit learning and quit speaking, she felt that she started to retrogress, which is going backwards. And when I was talking to her, I was really impressed by how good she is in English. It was just a kind of feeling in her self that her English is not that quite good. And I tried to convince her that her English is really good. It's just a matter of a few days to brush up. To brush up, that means to renew. To brush up things is to clean them. So we use this phrasal expression in English to mean to bring something from its old condition to make it new condition. To brush up, like for example, I need to brush up my skills with tennis. يعني أني أريد أطور مهاراتي بالتنس. So to brush up. Toothbrush, brush up. That's expression. So we had a long conversation for almost 1 hour. And in this conversation, we have discovered, both of us, quite interestingly. By the way, I'm reading your comments here. And if you have any questions and concerns, please send them to my private message. But make sure that when you send a message, if you have the ability to send me a voice message, it's much better indicative of what you need and what you're planning to do than sending me a written message. I prefer voice message because it's gonna give you a chance to speak for 1 minute in your English daily routine, which is really good. I mean, at least you can check that today you spoke 1 minute with me. Second, sometimes what can be said in spoken English can be more informative than what can be said in written English. I know females and males are different when it comes to expressiveness in English, but believe it or not, sometimes we feel stifled and asphyxiated and unable to express our feelings and emotions and thoughts directly through written. It's just writing, especially if we are writing English, which is our second language, we feel a little bit stifled, including me. So we're more tending towards speaking our thoughts and feelings and emotions and intellectual ability, share it with our friends and colleagues in spoken English. When you want to send something to me, just send it to me in a voice message. In this way, I would be able to interact with you naturally and understand your case and what you're going through. I am planning to be your mentor if you help me collaboratively work together with your English. So if you have any kind of challenges in your English, I can definitely refer to some recommendations and feedback and things, probably tricking yourself here and there to just be able to practice this lovely language and be able to share your thoughts globally. Going back to my point here, this is just a weekly reminder of the necessity to start working. It's January. January is almost going. We are almost half of January this week. So you need to start thinking about ways of improving your English, even if you're in the intermediate level or you feel like you're confidently able to express your thoughts and emotions and feelings. But it's always necessary to keep working on your English. And working on your English sometimes is challenging. It's like you come up with variety of struggles, especially emotional struggles. The major obstacle to any learner is their lack of confidence and their emotional dropping down because of certain family and societal problems and challenges. So while I was talking with this doctor, probably she's one of the best English learners that I've seen in my career so far in terms of her intellectual ability. She's smart, she's intelligent, she's very dedicated learner, and she absorbs the conversation like a sponge, and she processes that and synthesizes that in a very intellectual and artistic way and reproduces language in very efficient manner. And that just made me very curious to start exploring her skills. And I usually collect data from people, like the way they learned English, because that's going to be very good investment to me to share with you as English learners and tell you how learners started their career and started their learning trajectory and where the shortcuts are in language learning, because lots of us actually started from different windows, and entering this house of or entity that is called language has certain demarcations and utilities, and we need to invest in good quality that is compatible with our skills and our mental abilities. And she said that what she was doing, she was listening to songs. I mean, honestly, I don't listen to songs that much. Not because I'm conservative or anything. It's just I don't have enough time. But the point, she was listening to these songs and she was trying to write down any vocabulary that are not familiar to her. And building on not knowing these vocabulary, she started to develop a list of vocabulary. And these vocabulary started to recur. Like, they started to become like a pattern, especially when we talk about a certain genre of songs, like romantic songs or I don't know, other kinds of songs. But the point is, once you start writing down certain list of words, you'll come up with pool of vocabulary that are rotating and floating and swimming around, and once in a while you see them like a fish in a pool. So giving you this analogy of fish in a pool is very similar to how vocabulary are used and adopted in English language. That imagine yourself in a place where it has a pool where you can see through, and this is something we call aquarium in English. Aquarium, it's from aqua, which means water, and arium, like auditorium, and it's the place. So it's a place of water. And imagine yourself in an aquarium, the first floor or the base floor, and you're watching fish moving around and swimming around, and you see these fish and they come and go. This is pretty much how we look at vocabulary in English. They're like fish, they come and go, and they're floating to the surface, jumping back. And what I deduced from her conversation is very simple lesson, that once you start stacking up, once you start stacking up a very good amount of acceptable, common used expressions in English, and by expressions we include vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, metaphor, proverbs, and all the categorizations of English language that is esteemingly called English language or common English language, we come to a consensus of agreement that this list of vocabulary is going to be a catalyst to help you improve your English. Again, I will reiterate something, and that is, by just listening to me right now, by digesting what I'm talking to you about, by understanding 25% plus of what I'm talking about, you would have achieved a very acceptable goal of listening objective for today, which is Friday. Also, you probably have developed a plan or a sort of protocol of what you're planning to do tomorrow. But starting from tomorrow is a challenge to you in and out of cell, like postponing one day will lead you to postpone 1 week, will lead you to postpone 1 month, will lead you to postpone 1 year. And eventually you're going to postpone the whole thing, and you're not going to get to where you are planning to get. Other points that are definitely significant for you as an English learner is to be realistic. Don't say, well, I memorize and I am planning to memorize the whole English dictionary, because that's not an ideal sort of objective. You need to understand that learning language does not demand very high number of vocabulary. You can use limited number of vocabulary to talk about unlimited number of topics. And this is pretty much where native speakers excel, because they have limited set of vocabulary to talk about unlimited set of topics and themes and issues that are society related and personally related. Another thing that can be utilizable is to grab a book, a story, modern story. Now, why modern story? Simply because the kind of vocabulary that is prevalent, common in modern stories are kind of relevant to our daily life. Language changes. All languages change, and because of language change, we need to invest in some sort of stable vocabulary that are not changeable over the course of time. Because if we learn certain accent-related or dialect-related vocabulary, by the end of 5 years, this list of vocabulary would have been gone. Like the common Iraqi dialect expressions that we quit using them, but they were common 10 years ago. Think about so many, to name a few. So it's very interesting to invest your time and your effort in some good quality and quantity of vocabulary that are stable. Academic vocabulary is really ideal. It's going to help you in your writing career, and it's also going to help you in your speaking career, even though you will sound a little bit formal, but that's okay. I mean, sounding formal is really good. Trying to distance probably people that you don't like is also preferable. So investing in good quality of vocabulary is going to be a must. Think about it this way. If we convert everything to digital space, converting every kind of language topic to mathematical formula, we will end up learning English quite faster. For example, instead of saying, well, I'll learn English adjectives, you would definitely be able to say, well, I'll learn this week the first most common 100 vocabulary in English, or the most common 100 adjectives in English. Just Google it. Just write it down. I will learn this week the most common 100 vocabulary, or I'm sorry, I keep saying vocabulary, adjectives in English. You put this as an objective for this week. Okay, so this is the objective, this is the protocol, this is the goal of our lesson for today, learning 100 adjectives. What you need to do next is going to be the most important element of the whole plan. And that element is this. Go and devour, D-E-V-O-U-R. Go and devour all the videos on YouTube that talk about the most common adjectives in English, specifically the 100 ones. Once you'll get to know the perspective of multiple coaches and trainers kind of like keep me thinking of shoes. But once you keep looking and checking multiple English coaches and talking about the most common 100 adjectives, you would be able to like start reflecting. Like, okay, I'm listening to this person. I don't like his beard. Let me go to find another female teacher because I like to hear feminine English conversation. See, not me, you. And listen to her. She's going to talk about her most common 50 adjectives or 70 adjectives or 100 adjectives, and collecting them collectively is going to help you build a castle of adjectives here, and then that will lead you to build a house in there of adjectives, and all of that altogether is going to build you as a person who speaks a second language. We are by default, our brain is by default is equipped with tools to help us speak more than 2 languages. Believe it or not, I swear. We are equipped to speak more than 2 languages. It's only the society conditions that just made us speak 1 language and try to struggle to work hard to learn the second language. It's not our fault. The fault is in the stars. The fault is in the society. So, but if you think of a friend of mine, his name is Marin. He lived in Africa, in one of the tribes in Africa. His name is Marin. I'm still in touch with him. He spoke 7 languages. And when we go to parties, he was looking around to find Portuguese, Spanish, German, English people to talk to. And he talked to them in their native language. He grew up in a market in Africa, in Congo, Brazzaville. In that market, immigrants and travelers and tourists from all the world just came and intermingled, and they started using their own language. So his ears were fine-tuned to learn multiple languages, and he became a polyglot. Polyglot is a person who speaks multiple languages. What I'm doing right now is actually I'm throwing on the table a few idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs and vocabulary to help you learn them, write them down, use them, and misuse them. And one key feature of a good learner is trying to invest some time in using his weapons, his vocabulary weapons. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she mentioned that when she was a child, her dad used to teach her 1 vocabulary a day, and he asked her to go and use this vocabulary with her family and friends in the neighborhood. She is a really terrific English teacher right now. Her name is Mina Ali. If she hears me, probably give her a shout out. And she has got a good, lovely channel on YouTube to teach English. So the point is this: if you don't use it, you'll just eventually lose it. On this point, I am going to conclude our meeting because shutting down of electricity is really unpredictable. So I need to save my face. I need to save my face and, present to you a very short breeze-like kind of lesson. Hopefully, you're all well, and in Godspeed. Okay? In Godspeed, I want you to write that down. It's Godspeed. Godspeed. It's an expression in English for a person who's just traveling or going somewhere. So on this point, I would like to thank you so much for your lovely listening. You're such an addictive, lovely English learners. And that's how you should be all the time. Be passionate about English. Be crazy about English. Don't be normal when you're learning languages. Just be crazy. This is the way you will ace this lovely language. Wish you a lovely evening. Happy Friday. God bless all. and thank you so much for listening to me. مدرب اللغة وليد خالد. ربي يحفظكم.